In the UFC, records are made to be broken. Most wins, longest title reign, fastest knockout. They all eventually fall. Some young, hungry fighter always comes along and shatters them. But there's one record that's not going anywhere. The title of the heaviest fighter to ever step into the UFC cage. And that one belongs to a man who was less of a heavyweight contender and more of a small planet. His name was Emmanuel Yarbrough. In 1994, the UFC was like the Wild West. If the Wild West had a fewer gunfights and more guys in mullets trying to kick each other in the face. There were no weight classes, no gloves, and the only rules were no eye gouging and no biting. And even those were broken regularly. And then Emmanuel Tiny Yarbrough walked in. And by walked in, I mean everyone in the Northern Hemisphere felt it.
What is that?
The man weighed over 600 pounds. Guinness World Record officially stamped him the largest athlete on earth, which is just a nice way of calling someone fat. I kinda can feel the world's lamest yo mama joke hiding up there. Yo mama's so fat, Guinness World Record guys had to come twice to measure her. Yo mama's so fat, she beat Ozempic. Okay, I'll stop. Yo mama's so nice, she would like, share and subscribe. When the crowd saw him, their jaws dropped. You could feel that mix of awe, curiosity, and mostly,
Damn!
they were like, what is this guy going to do? Is he going to sit on someone? And yeah, that will eventually happen. Kinda. We'll talk about it later. His opponent was Keith Hackney, aka the first guy that gets beaten up in a shitty Steven Seagal movie. You know that guy that Jean-Claude Van Damme faces in the first round of an illegal blood tournament? If you don't get these references, you might be too young. Or maybe I'm just too old. But what, you want me to talk about? K-pop? Fuck you. Bro looked like a love child of Mike, Natty, O'Hearn, and Chael the Goat Sonnen. Bro looks like what ChatGPT spits out when you type in the 90s. Like ass chin and everything. Make ass chins great again. The idea behind this fight was brilliant. Find two guys with different fighting styles and with 400-pound weight difference and see who wins. It was basically the Temu version of Street Fighter. Like, no honey, we got Street Fighter in home type of shit. I'm pretty sure that everyone with internet access know how this fight ended. It's literally on every MMA highlight video ever. Even if you're casual, you know this one. Many tried to get a hold of Hackney, but got bitch slapped really hard. When he got up, he managed to land a couple of those Big Brother punches, and he ruined Hackney's favorite shirt. Then he pushed him out of the ring. When Hackney got back in, the world's scariest game of tag began. Manny eventually managed to grab his leg, but Keith landed a few good uppercuts straight on the big man's chin, which sent Tiny straight to the canvas. After multiple hits to the back of the head, Youngblood John McCarthy stopped the fight. And that's pretty much how all of us know Emmanuel Tiny Yarbrough. But here's the thing, this is not just a look at the big guy story, because behind all that mass, behind the spectacle and the headlines, was a guy who lived a life that was way heavier than the number on the scale. Emmanuel wasn't born as a giant. He was born in Rahway, New Jersey in 1964, and like most kids, he probably had no idea what sumo wrestling was, or that one day he'd be the face of it in America. This may sound crazy, but Manny was an athlete. In college, he wrestled for Morgan State University. This wasn't some novelty act. He was good, like all-American good. And you know the thing about college wrestling? It's brutal. You're not just muscling through matches. You're grinding through early mornings, cutting weight. Feel free to insert the irony here. And outworking the guys who want your spot. Emmanuel did all that until life, a slowing metabolism, and maybe a few cheeseburgers changed the trajectory. But in those days, he wasn't the biggest. He was just a big guy who could move, and that was the dangerous combination. Manny also played football and was brown belt in judo. Fast forward a bit, Emmanuel finds sumo. Not the backyard Halloween costume kind, but the real thing. Yarbrough started competing in amateur sumo in 1992, and he excelled at it. He won silver medal in Sumo World Championship the same year, and he also won silver in 1994 and bronze medal in 1993. In 1995, he finally became the world amateur sumo champion, leading him to be one of the most famous sumo wrestlers outside Japan. Emmanuel's MMA career. In 1994, the UFC came calling. Back then, MMA wasn't the sport it is today. UFC was more of a freak show than an actual fighting event, and Manny was perfect for it. They were like, let's put fat sumo dude against Kung Fu Fabio, and people will love it. And they were right. The fight was an instant classic. But this was not Emmanuel's only MMA fight. He had two more, and both of those were in Japan. Because if someone likes freaky looking fighters, it's the Japanese people. His first fight was in the shoot organization against Tatsuo Nakano, a professional shoot style wrestler and Bobby Lee's long lost brother. I mean, look at the dude. He has mullet and everything. He looks like an X-Man whose only power is domestic violence. I love this fight because at first glance, this matchup looked like the most incredible Walmart brawl in history. We have a small Asian dude with a mullet on one side and a giant black guy on the other. We only needed a fat white chick on mobility scooter to achieve greatness here. Nakano's plan for this fight was simple: don't get caught. But this time, fight was not in a big octagon, but in a smaller boxing ring. Manny caught him and just lay on him. It's not official, but the rumors are that he whispered this into his ear.
You ever sucked cock before?
After hearing this, Nakano tried to escape under the ropes, but the referee stopped the fight and positioned them in the center of the ring. After the repositioning, Yarbrough pulled the funniest and scariest move. He placed his huge belly on Nakano's face. Because he didn't want to witness a murder, the referee stopped the fight. Our boy Manny finally won. Fun fact, this is one of the only two ever MMA submissions by smother. TKO by thickness. Yarbrough's third and last fight was against Daiju Takase. The weight difference this time was just around 430 pounds, which is basically nothing, just a baby hippo or 20-something koalas. This fight started like all Emmanuel's fight, with the opponent trying to avoid him at all costs. And have in mind that this was not an easy task, mainly because in Pride organization, first round lasted for 10 freaking minutes. This got both Manny and Takase sweaty and gassed out. Mostly Manny. The second round began just like the first one, with Takase running for his life. Which made Manny feel, well, let's just say, disappointed. But even the ref got tired of all this running, so he gave Takase a warning. Maybe it's because of the warning or just low IQ, but Takase will make one of the stupidest moves in MMA history. He shot a single leg on the 600-pound man. This was scary to watch. It looked like a walrus eating baby seal. Takase seemed desperate. He even tries something that looks like Kimura on an arm that's almost the size of his body. Just when it seemed that Manny got this in a bag, Takase slips out and finishes the match. It's Hackney fight all over again. I guess running around at 600 plus pounds takes its toll. This was unfortunately Manny's last MMA fight. Tough loss for the big guy. Besides being a sumo wrestler and MMA fighter, Manny was a minor celebrity. He appeared in movies and TV shows. Being a guest on some of the biggest late-night shows was part of his daily routine. Manny was the guy you called for the Sumo Dude segment of the show. He smiled for the cameras. He let people marvel at his size, because it paid bills. But privately, it was a whole different fight. Emmanuel battled depression. His weight was both his brand and his burden. If he lost too much of it, he'd lose the thing that made him famous. But keeping it meant every step, every breath, every plane ride was a battle.
This walking. I used to walk around to mail my letters around the block. Now I have to drive up to a mailbox. My life now is a matter of navigating. Like if I wanted to go to a movie, I have to find a movie where they have the arms with the come up in the chairs and stuff like that, and how far the parking is from the theater and that sort of thing. I haven't been in a mall in years. The goal is to free myself. I feel like I've put myself in a self-imposed prison, and it's a matter of releasing myself from that, empowering myself to live a more productive and fruitful life.
As he said, he was in self-imposed prison. And that's the kind of line that sounds poetic until you realize he meant it literally. There were places he physically couldn't go, chairs he couldn't sit in, cars he couldn't fit into. Imagine living like that, while the rest of the world turns you into a punchline, reducing your whole life to a fat guy gets knocked out funny video. That doesn't sound nice, right? Because it isn't. Life was not easy for the big man. One of the craziest stories, even to make national news, was when he was denied permission to fly an airplane because of his size and weight.
A recent business trip turned into a big disappointment and a canceled ticket for the American amateur sumo wrestler who holds the Guinness World Record for the heaviest living athlete on the planet. Emmanuel Yarbrough stands 6'7" and weighs 700 pounds. Now, despite his size, he says he's traveled throughout the years just fine, making special arrangements ahead of time with airlines and buying extra seats. A recent trip booked on Delta Airlines from Newark to Italy, where he had a paying gig, was canceled without any real explanation, according to Yarbrough.
I could see if I just tried to get on with one seat, then they would have an argument. But this is an instance I had 3 seats paid for. So that's what mystifies me even more. I don't understand, like, even at 700 pounds, if you spread 700 pounds over 3 seats, this more than accommodates it. So I really don't know, like, what the problem was or what the problem is.
What bothers me here is that Manny was 100% aware of his stature. He even bought 3 tickets because he didn't want to upset anyone. Yet, he was still denied. All that size came with a price. As he got older, the health risks piled up. Heart problems, breathing issues, diabetes, and many other things. And let's be honest, the medical system isn't exactly designed for people his size. So getting healthy was even harder for Tiny. Unfortunately, on December 21st, 2015, Emmanuel Yarbrough passed away at the age of 51. Complications from his weight had finally caught up to him. As I said before, it's easy for people to reduce his whole life to a viral clip of UFC 3, a Guinness World Record, or a funny sumo skit. But if you do that, you miss the man entirely. Manny was a really nice guy, humble, well-spoken, gentle grizzly bear of a man. While I was gathering up material for this video, I read a lot of comments from people who knew Manny. And believe it or not, 100% of those were positive. One comment stood up. I'm not sure, but I think it's from the guy who worked on Manny's TV show pilot. In his words, TV show failed because none of the TV networks wanted to pick up the pilot. The reason was, they all thought Emmanuel was too nice. Yeah, we live in a fucked up world. That would be it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I guess the message of this video is never judge a book by its cover, because people are more than one viral clip or job they do. Be nice to people and people will be nice to you, most of the time. Don't be a fucking cunt is what I'm trying to say.